How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, January 7th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to do an individual profile on Ozzie Albies. And throughout this year, I'm going to start doing profiles on people's birthdays just to show the amount of work that they've accomplished up until that specific point in their life. And it was the easiest way to kind of get through all of the elite athletes that I have throughout the year and kind of space it out and kind of make it kind of fun. Do it on their birthdays and show what they've done up until today. And for today's installment, I'm going to do Ozzie Albies, who now just turned 24, and he's probably one of the best second basemen in the league right now. And considering how well baseball players age and how much he's set himself apart from other MLB players at his position, let alone other players that he plays in the same league with, I think that Ozzie Albies is definitely a player who can become one of the best players, who can definitely become a Hall of Fame player one day based on the production that he's put forth up until today. So just to give a little bit of background, Ozzie Albies is from Curaçao, which is an island right off Venezuela in South America. And he was eventually signed by the Atlanta Braves at a very, very, very young age. And he was called up to Atlanta in 2017 when he turned 20 years old. So in his very first season with Atlanta, he was called up in 2017, and he played 20 games in a season where the Atlanta Braves would go on and finish with the third best record in the NL East with 72 games. The last time the Braves haven't made the playoffs, so that was Ozzie Albies' rookie season. And in that season, he finished with 62 hits in those 57 games, more hits than games, first time. He had 34 runs. And this is about the same amount of time that we would have for this season. So he actually has a similar season to compare it to. He finished with 6 home runs and 28 RBIs, finishing with a 286 batting average and a 810 OPS as a switch hitting 20-year-old in the MLB. So that's a pretty good first year. Just for someone just getting a start in the MLB, just considering how small he is and what he was able to do. So, in 2018, his career actually kind of took off. So, in his age 21 season, he would play 158 games in a season where the Atlanta Braves would finish with the best record in the NL East for the first time in a bit since 2013. That's the first time they made the playoffs after a 5-year playoff drought. And in this season, Ozzie Albies, in those 158 games, he finished with 167 hits as a switch hitter. So the second time he had more hits than games played. He had 105 runs, the most runs he's had in a season in his career to date. He had 40 doubles, the first time he had 40 doubles in his career, his second season in the league. He finished with 24 home runs and 72 RBIs, in a season where he hit 20 of those home runs right before the playoff break, and he had an amazing first half of the season. He kind of fell off for the second half, but he was still an all-star. He'd finished with a 261 batting average and a 757 OPS, both lower than the previous year, but he was named an all-star for the first time ever in his career. And going into the playoffs, they would go on to lose to the Los Angeles Dodgers in 4 games in the season where Ronald Acuna would win the Rookie of the Year, and in the game where he would hit the grand slam in the playoffs against Walker Buehler. That's the same season. And Brian Snicker won the Manager of the Year, but this is the first time the Braves made it back to the playoffs, and Ozzie Albies was, even offensively, from an offensive standpoint, a very big part of the reason why they got back. So that leads into the 2019 season. So in his age 22 season, going back, his 2018 season, he was 21. So it's worth knowing that he was that elite in his age 21. So that said, going into his age 22 season in 2019, he would play 160 games in a season where the Braves would finish with 97 wins, the most wins the Atlanta Braves have had since 2003. And in the season, in the 160 games, Ozzie Albies would finish with 189 hits, which led the National League. This is the first time he's done it in his career at 22 years old, might I remind you. He also led the league in at-bats, too. He finished with over 100 runs for the second straight time in his career. He had 102 of them. He had 43 doubles, which is the most doubles he'd have in his career in a season. That's 3 more than 2018. He finished with 24 home runs, tied for his career high, and he had 86 RBIs, his career high. He had 15 stolen bases, another career high. He had a 295 batting average, another career high. Finished with an 852 OPS, another career high, and he wasn't named an all-star, but he was named a Silver Slugger at second base for the first time in his career. And No, and I think following that age 22 season, considering that was the last full season of baseball in the league, and he led the entire National League in hits, which is an incredible feat considering the fact that he is a switch hitter, and the fact that he was able to do so at 22 years old is still a mind-boggling stat. He was still able to win Silver Slugger, and this was a season within the season where they finished with 97 games. They would lose to the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLDS, but this was the best regular season. This was the best regular season that they had. But this would carry them with a good amount of momentum going into 2020. And in this season, Ozzie Albies would play 29 games in a 60-game season that was, of course, shortened by COVID. His season was shortened within a shortened season because he had an injury that he had to deal with. But he would play 29 games in a season where the Atlanta Braves finished with a 35-25 record, which is good enough for the best record in the NL East and a 2 seed in the NL playoffs. But of course, in this season, in the 29 games he played, he finished with 32 hits in those 29 games, which is 4 for 4 seasons where he had more hits than games played. He finished with 21 runs in those 29 games. He had 6 home runs and 19 RBIs. And he had a 271 batting average, which is good enough, which is the third best out of his 4-year career. And he finished with a 773 OPS, which is better than his All-Star season still. And then he was able to help the Atlanta Braves make the playoffs. In the first round, they swept the Reds 2-0. They swept the Marlins in the NLDS 3-0, and then they ended up losing to the eventual World Series champs Dodgers in Game 7 of the 2020 World Series. So, I mean, just to show you how amazing of a team the Braves are, and Ozzie Albies is one of the elite players from that roster, I think that's one of the reasons that if you start watching baseball, I recommend watching Ozzie Albies. As it currently stands, he's a player that's won a Silver Slugger. He's won an All-Star in recent years. He just turned 24 in a sport where 35 and 36-year-olds are still pretty competitive All-Stars. I think after Jose Altuve, he's the most well-rounded second baseman in all of baseball. He's incredible defensively, and even though he's about 5'4", 5'5", he can reach about every ball on the field. And just the ability he's able to hit from both sides of the plate is incredibly unmatched. And he is a player that can most possibly win more than one hitting titles. He can lead the league in hits a good amount of times while playing as a switch hitter. And the fact that he's playing alongside players with like Ronald Acuna Jr. Within this Atlanta Braves organization, I think that his career is only going to get better because of the team that he has around him. And because he's young and he has such a young career, his is a career that is very interesting to watch even right now. Because if you're trying to see a Hall of Fame career or a career or just a great MLB career bloom from beginning to end, his is a career to kind of start watching as of right now, because he definitely has a year or he definitely has a decade left of being quite possibly the league's best second baseman. And once again, if you ever get a chance to watch El de la Sabana, he wears number 1 for the Atlanta Braves, and he plays second base. With that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to my piece. Today is Thursday, January 7th, 2021. Ozzie Albies, as of today, is 24 years old, so happy birthday to him. And I want to thank you guys for listening to my piece, and I'll follow this up with a piece on Lamar Jackson, the elite starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, who actually shares his birthday. Thanks once again for listening to my piece. Peace out, and I'll catch you right after this.